How to set up your new Seint palette. So your box has arrived, all your goodies are inside, now it's time to get started. Today I'm gonna show you how to set up your new Seint palette so that your makeup makes sense and is easy to get started with. You might be asking yourself, why do I need that? Because none of your makeup, the names of your products, are not visible once you magnetize them into the tin. If you are new to my page, welcome. My name is Sami George. I'm an independent makeup artist with Seint Beauty, and I teach natural looking makeup for those of us who have imperfect skin. The redness, rosacea, the dark under eyes, pretty much everything you get after 30 years old. And I do it all out of this one customized palette. And today I'm gonna show you how to set it up so that you know what you're doing right away and can get started with ease. If you think that'll be valuable, stick around and watch today's video. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and thanks for being here. Because this makeup is completely customized to you, each individual tin is magnetized, which is awesome because you only replace the tin that you need when you run out of it. Here's the issue for a newbie. The name is on the back and the brush names are not on the brushes. So let me show you how to keep this super simple. So what's gonna happen? Your pretty Seint makeup is going to arrive in your gorgeous box, like literally everything about Seint is beautiful. Inside, you're gonna see all of your packaging, also has the Seint monogram and everything on it. And then you're gonna pull out your palette, your individual tins, your perfector sponge, any brushes that you may have gotten, and your packaging label. And I'm gonna show you why this might be a lifesaver for you as you're getting started. Now that everything is out of the box, here's the other thing I want you to go grab. Grab your color match results document that I sent you. On that document, on the first page, listed on the left-hand side is your colors that you've been matched to and the order in which you're going to apply them, which is how we're gonna set up our palette. Because I create your routine based on the finish that you want with your makeup, I put together an order of operations for you to make it easy. It's a step-by-step guide. So to make it easy to get started, we're just gonna put our tins in our palette in the order in which we're going to apply them. Now that you've got your color match form, you are going to go ahead and pull out your tins. Here's the cool thing. So your tins come individually magnetized. So each one of these is going to magnetize into your palette. So you wanna pop the tin lid off. You wanna save at least one of these, okay? Because it has this edge on it, and that's what allows you to pop the colors out without like squeezing your fingernail in between and mashing your finger into one of your tins. So save one of these tin lids and then grab your colors, names are on the back, and just start with the order of operations that you see on your color match form. Now that you've got your tins out, let's talk about brushes. And here is my trick for you. On the box, the actual name of the brush is listed, but once you open them, the name is not on the brush itself. These are the standard 2 brushes that most of my first-time clients get. I wanna tell you, they're gonna look like this. This is my old, like 3.5, 4-year-old brush. And because it's literally good as new, I haven't purchased a new one. This is the new design. They will come in either rose gold or silver or gold, depending what you choose from the website. It's completely up to you, but they will look like this. So if you see this and you're like, mine doesn't look like that. Same brushes, same set, just a different design. But when you look at them, what you're gonna see is the name Seint is on there, but the name of the brush is not. So here's what I want you to do. If it seems confusing, go to your packing slip. Your packing slip, you guys, is a sticker. So what you can do is cut out the name of the brush with scissors. Just cut out the name with scissors and you can apply it onto the side of the brush. So you can add your own name to it. The other trick that you can do is your actual highlight names, your foundation, your concealer, your color corrector are on here as well. So if you wanted to, you could technically cut these out and put them around the perimeter of your palette to know exactly what the colors are as well. So all you would do is cut out the label and then around the perimeter as you're putting your tins in, you could put the label if you want. I'm just gonna build the palette in the order of operations that we're gonna use them. And then if you have your color match, you don't even need to worry like, oh, I wonder what color that is. You're just gonna follow the step-by-step guide that was created for you. In the meantime, I want you to take your perfector sponge out. This tin is really cool. So you can either keep this as something to keep your perfector in. You can put any little trinkets, bobby pins, anything like that in it. But take it out of the packaging and go ahead and prep your perfector. What does it mean to prep your perfector? So you'll see, this is my perfector that I've been using. Here's the one from the packaging. You see how it's doubled in size? So when I'm doing my hair or putting on my morning sunscreen, I simply run this under cold water. And if I have any makeup from the day before on it, I just clean it with a face wash, squeeze out all of the excess water, and then squeeze it in a towel and let it start to dry. We want it to be cool and damp when we use it. We don't want it to be dry, and we don't want it to be soaking wet. It won't serve the purpose of removing excess and blending all of your makeup together unless it's cool and damp. Let's build our palette and put on our makeup. So the first tin that I'm going to put in is my color correcting shade. Grab the small end of the detail brush, and I'm just gonna do a quick half face application for you. And this is gonna follow the step-by-step guide that you got in your color match. So I'm targeting the darkness. Tap, tap onto that darkness. I have darkness under the eye, a lot of redness and rosacea here in the cheeks. So I'm just doing this little buffing motion. I'm gonna put a little bit right onto this acne and acne scarring here. I have a scar on my nose, broken capillaries under the nose, and this I'm just buffing in. This is the darkest shade in my palette and the one that I'm gonna use first, so it's going into this first position here in my palette. Now I'm gonna grab the larger end, where did I put it? Here it is, underneath my seat. The larger end of the blush and bronzer brush, and I'm just gonna get this onto this larger area here simply because it's faster, and that is color correction. You can see the difference from step one here to step one here. While I'm at it, before I move on, I forgot, small end of the detail brush, I am going to color correct my eye. I have a lot of blue and purple on my eyelid, and I want my eyeshadows to show true to tone, so I'm just giving myself a good base and color correcting my eyelid as well. Now we're going to go pop in our second tin, which for me, this is my main highlight, also known as foundation. So we have our color corrector. Now we have our main highlight, known in the traditional makeup world as foundation. So I'm putting it in the second spot, grabbing that same blush and bronzer brush, one tap in, and now I'm gonna press this on to the face. So step two, when you're using a color corrector, is to press on your main highlight. Now, when we did our color corrector, we were kind of doing this buffing motion. Now that we have our color corrector on, we only want to press because we don't want to move that color corrector underneath. And I'm putting this on top of the color corrector and anywhere else that I would want coverage. There we go. Going to the small end of the detail brush, little bit of that main shade. Remember, anywhere that you color correct, I color corrected the darkness under my eyes. I want to press on a little bit of that main shade, and I just find this smaller brush is easier, and I'm gonna press a little bit on the eyelid. So now I've neutralized the discoloration and brought everything back to matching my neck. Step three is going to be to contour, so now I'm just gonna pop in my contour. Color corrector, main highlight, which is your foundation, and contour. All of these products give coverage. I'm gonna tap into the side of my detail brush, and now I'm gonna go to the top of the ear, to the outside corner of my eye, and I'm following my cheekbone. And now I'm gonna flick up. This is gonna give me dimension and some lift to my cheekbone. It really just enhances the natural shadows that we have on the face. Like you can see when I look forward here, I have this natural shadow. Now we're just defining that a little bit on the face so that when I turn, that shadow is lost, right? But now when I turn, it's still there because I'm adding to it with my contour. Pressing in a little bit and adding it to the forehead. Now keep in mind, your contour is the driest of all of the shades that you're gonna have in your palette. So it's not gonna feel as creamy as your color corrector or as your main highlight shade. And it's not meant to because we don't want it to move or blend as easily as the other colors. We want it to be a little bit more strategic. So top of the forehead, top of the cheekbone, underneath the jawline, and pull it down the neck. You can also do your nose or under your lip, but since we're only doing half a face today, we'll keep it simple. So there we go. Now it's time to add in our brightener, which you are known in traditional makeup land as a concealer. This is my brightening highlight. It's gonna be the lightest of the highlights that you're gonna see. And these are the tins that give me coverage. They're all formulated for coverage purposes. I'm gonna grab the small end of the detail brush, and now I'm gonna go underneath that trough that you see. And all I'm doing is brightening up the center of the face and the under eye. Because with 3D highlight and contour, we're creating darkness around the perimeter, and that's what gives us that sculpt and that shape. We're adding brightness to the center because when somebody looks at you, they're drawn to the brightest points on the face. So we want that to be the area around our eyes. Just tapping a little bit, and I'm using the lightest amount of product in between the eyebrows, kind of this T-zone, down the nose, onto the top of my lip, and on to the chin. Now I can take a look and say, do I want any more brightness underneath the eye? Maybe we'll do a little bit more, because next we're gonna do our magic step. We're gonna take this from any excess makeup to looking completely skin-like. Because anytime you layer, which is how we get coverage on darkness, we still wanna be really light-handed, but it's just kind of the nature of makeup to migrate to anywhere that we have fine lines, texture, creasing. So we're gonna go ahead and mitigate that by using our perfector. It's also gonna blend everything together really seamlessly. Taking the perfector off its little stand, and now I'm gonna pounce this all over the face. So I'm gonna make sure that my contour is blended really well. This is why you don't want to over blend from the beginning. Put your makeup on, give it a little blend, but just know that you're gonna use your perfector. So like anywhere where it's not blended, we're gonna blend with this, but we're also gonna remove excess. Smile lines, under eyes for sure, because I layered there. And see, I still, even after 3.5, 4 years, I myself still have excess, but I never have to worry about it because the perfector removes excess and literally marries all of your product together. That's it for coverage. This right here is what gives you coverage. The next products, your bronzer, your lip and cheek, illuminator, those are all washes of color that don't give coverage. They're more of a sheer product. So you wanna use your perfector before that stage. Now here's a little trick for you. No matter what size palette you're using, and let me show you this bigger one. Okay, here's the bigger palette. So you'll see there's more spaces. No matter what size palette you're using, put your bronzer in a corner. Don't put it in between. Like if I had like 4 highlights, I could fit my bronzer here and then a lip and cheek. The reason you don't wanna do that is because you're gonna use this big fluffy end, and this is the only time we're really gonna swirl in. So what you're gonna see me do is I'm swirling on the side and just kind of rotating my brush. If I swirl like this, because the brush is so big, when I get bronzer on it, it's gonna start to swirl onto the other products that I have. So just kind of keep it here on the outside, swirl it, and then here we go. Top of the forehead, we're going anywhere the sun would naturally give us a suntan. So this is over that contour line and a little bit above. Again, top of the forehead till you're happy. I like some warmth, so I'm gonna do a little bit more. And I love to bring some down the neck just to make sure that everything matches really well. If your neck is already darker than your face, you can skip that step. A lot of people like to go nose and chin just because they like that bronzy look. Now let's add a lip and cheek. Most of my ladies get 2 lip and cheeks, so we can just pop one in right here, flip over to the other side, pop one in right here. And now we're gonna grab, again, the small end of the blush and bronzer brush, and we're just gonna tap in, get some product on the brush, 2 fingers out from the nose, and we're going on the outside apple of the cheek and hugging that contour line. So it's definitely in the same area that the bronzer is, but we're doing contour right here. Our lip and cheek hugs that line, and our bronzer is just kind of in that same space as well. It doesn't have to be super perfect. They're really meant to blend together. Now I'm gonna use a little bit on the lips. And because I love, this is Sunshine State, it looks like it's going to be really, really pigmented. It's not. It's actually just this glossy kind of base tone of a pink, but with a little bit of golden shimmer. I'm just gonna top that right over top, and it's one of my absolute favorites on the lips. All right, let's grab our illuminator, And we can pop this in right next to that. We're gonna do our illuminator on the highest point. So again, we're just kind of melding this all together, right? But when I turn, you're gonna see it gives that additional glow. So you can use your finger and then really blend it with the small end of your blush and bronzer brush, or you can grab your perfector sponge and you can swipe in to get product on there and just press it on. It's really a matter of whatever your personal preference is. I also like to put some on the Cupid's bow to make my top lip pop out a little bit. And you can even put it down the nose, underneath the brow bone, kind of as your eye makeup. Speaking of eye makeup, let's keep today as simple as possible and let's do a little bit of bronzer on the eye. So I already color corrected, so I have like a base neutral shade. Let's just create an eye look with bronzer. Back to the small end of the detail brush, tapping into bronzer, which I don't know if I said this before, your bronzer is the creamiest, especially when it's brand new. So your highlights, they're creamy, your contour is the driest, but your bronzer new is definitely the creamiest of all of the products in your tin. It will dry down a little bit once it's exposed over time to the air, but it's really just meant to be a sheer wash of color, and cream bronzer is literally the absolute best. So like that's gonna be my eye look for today. I color corrected, I put my main highlight shade down, I put some bronzer in and above the crease, tap it in the outer corner, and then I put my illuminator under the brow, and we are like good to go. So what else do newbies often get with Seint? A lot of ladies get our Vanilla Dust setting powder. So when it comes to the setting powder, this would be the last step in your routine. You can either grab the powder brush or like one of these little powder poofs off Amazon. And here's where I'm gonna set. This is a matter of preference. For me, I set in the areas that I am prone to creasing, under eye, smile lines, but I wanna be really light-handed. So press one time and just press on. So it's going to help mattify areas. So if you wanna reduce the glow anywhere, oftentimes people do that in between their eyebrows, not in between their T-zone, in between their eyebrows, down the nose. This is the T-zone. Okay, again, smile lines, under eye, and if you have large pores in this area, mattifying it will help reduce that reflective quality that you get. And then you can keep everywhere else glowing and radiant. If you wanna mattify everywhere, you can go ahead and mattify all over. The last place I'm gonna do is my eyes. My eyes are prone to creasing. I have a lot of wrinkles on my lid, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that cream to keep the creasing to a minimum. Then if you got any eyeshadows, now is the time to go ahead and pop them in. Again, everything is magnetized, so everything can be popped right into your tin. And here's a little pro tip for you. As you grow your collection, if you have the option of getting a larger palette, try and get one where you can put all of your creams on one level and all of your powders on another. If you were to ever drop this palette, it crashes down and an eyeshadow breaks. Powder from the eyeshadow is going to stick into these creams and it's just gonna be a messy mess. So if you're able to separate powders on one level, creams on another, you will be good to go. So that's it, ladies. We have our brushes labeled, we have our palette set up in the order in which we're gonna use it. You are ready to go to get started with your new makeup routine. Just follow your color match, step by step, start to finish, and reach out if you need help. As always, I'm appreciative that you're here. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you next week.